Jacob here with the Coaches Rowe, and today I wanted to go over one thing that's a huge mistake that I think coaches make all across. So, coaches, pay attention, listen up, let's get this right. First, I think the primary aspect of today is going to be knowing your athletes. I understand if you have a new team or you're just starting or whatever, we have to know our athletes, not just how they learn and how they grow, but a little bit about them on and off the field, right? We should know a little bit about their school schedule if it's that time of year. We should know a little bit about their workload or if they have big tests or whatever coming up or orchestra or band or practices or whatever. So we have to have good communication with the parents. It doesn't just stop at the kid playing the sport. You're not just there to teach them how to throw a ball or how to run. That's part of it, but you're also there to be a good influence into the life of shaping young athletes into young men and young women, depending on whatever sport you're into. I refer a lot back to baseball because that's what season's coming up for us. Again, we got the brand labeled out. We'll start pushing forward in August. And I just wanted to share a story with you guys real quick on why it's important to know your athletes and to ask questions to the parents and to have good relationships and good communication. Good lines of communication with the parents is vital. So, real quick story time. The last team we were a part of, or the last team me and my son were on, and I was helping coach, we had like a good game or a good practice or something. I can't really remember. And one of the parents, I think the head coach's wife, like made cookies or something. I can't remember specifically. And when the coach said, "Hey, we're all going to have some cookies. I really appreciate you guys. Like, you're working hard for us. We made you a snack." And you know, when you're younger and you got youth athletes, they really appreciate that kind of stuff and they get all excited about it. And it's great. I thought it was awesome. And it was a surprise to all of us. So it was pretty cool. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then there was one kid that, didn't grab a cookie. So the coach is kind of like, "Hey, grab a cookie." And the kid's like, "Nah, I can't." And then the coach is like, "No, for real, grab a cookie. It's okay, man. We got plenty. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt you." And the kid's like, "No, I can't." And it kind of became a conversation in front of everyone. And I could kind of tell the kid was getting a little uncomfortable. So I was like, "Hey, coach, like, nah, it's good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry." Because I could tell something was off. So then after that, I go over to the mom of the kid, and I'm like, "Hey, just letting you know, we all had cookies or whatever, and he seemed like he didn't really want one, so we didn't make him take one. I just wanted to ask, like, is there any reason why he couldn't have the cookie, or like, is there something we don't know about?" And she said, "Oh, well, the family's got celiac disease." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, that would have been great to know before the season started or halfway through the season if we're trying to feed the kid or get a snack or whatever." And not many parents or coaches really think about, hey, what are all the kids' food allergies when they start a season for sports? They're there for sports, so they're not really considering allergies and stuff like that. So what we really got to remember is that there's more to it than just being a coach. Right, especially like what happens if a kid with an allergy or some kind of physical ailment, coach said it, I have to do it, and then now there's a big problem. So we don't want to put the kids in a situation to where in public forum they have to denounce or announce whatever problem that they have medically or physically to get us off their back or whatever. So that situation kind of, it wasn't real bad or nothing crazy happened, but it would have just been nice to know beforehand. And I'm not pointing fingers. It doesn't really matter. But as the coach, it's just your responsibility to know your players and to know what's going on. So, that would have been really nice information to know. And then when we're doing team bonding and team building events, we can pick things and do things where everyone can be included, because it's not just about the cookie. It's never just about the treat, the ice cream, the winning, the celebration. It's always a little bit more. It's always about bringing the team together and having a moment where they get to eat together. And let's just say something straight real quick. Human beings are the only animals or living beings on the planet that like sit down and share a meal together. So we might not, in today's age, we might not see it as something special or that important. But sitting down with people around you, and having a snack or eating some food should be cherished, and it should be looked at as such. It's a bonding moment. So, next time it was like, okay, well, we have these special made cookies for him. So we didn't tell anyone special made. We just told the parents, like this is for him or whatever. So going forward, that wasn't a problem, but it would have really helped to know. And that's the same thing for physical ailments in general. This season before that, we actually had a championship team. And one of the kids had surgery on his ankles. So the whole time he was kind of running funny, and I thought he just had a hard time moving his body. And I'm yelling at the kid. I'm like, "Hey man, pick your leg up, move your foot." And I'm showing him how to run, and he's like monster mashing his feet all over the ground. And then randomly his dad comes up and goes, "Hey man, sorry, like he had surgery on his ankles. He's gonna run pretty funny for a while." And I was like, "Hey, that's cool, And the dad's like, "It's really good that you're making him run and you're getting on him." And in my head, I'm like, "Hey, I appreciate the feedback, but is he ready for this? Is this okay? Like, am I pushing him too hard? Does he have a doctor's note saying he can play?" And those things are what's on my mind, because yeah, baseball's baseball, and we're playing sports, and we're hard charging, and we want to be winners. But at the end of the day, I'm not risking a child's health and welfare over a baseball game. I don't want none of that. So my opinion on this is, when you're starting a team or formulating a team, even if there's not one already for the league or whatever, the coach can hand out a questionnaire. Hey parents, please fill these out and get them back to me. If you don't feel comfortable answering any of these questions, that's fine. You don't have to. This is just for me to know going forward. And then the coach studies that information, and he or she should know every single player on the team, what their ailments are or whatever. It's not too much. It's not too much to ask that the leader of something knows the people they are leading, especially when it's a baseball team. It's not, Amazon. I'm sure Amazon, every manager doesn't know every single employee in Amazon. That'd be crazy. But for coaches and baseball team, especially when we're managing youth and they're looking at us for answers, we need to be there, and we need to be aware and sure that we're managing the situations correctly. So that's really the big thing I wanted to hit on. I think the questionnaire is super important. I also coach bodybuilding and powerlifting and just general health and wellness. And I never start a client without knowing their questionnaire. I have a questionnaire for each different one, but a lot of them have similar questions, and I never start a client before I have that questionnaire. I don't care if they paid me money, I'll pay it back. If they're not going to answer the questionnaire, I can't work with you. And that's been something true to how I do business for over 10 years. So, and I have some professional athletes. So when I'm managing, giving advice about diets and workouts and health and welfare and vitamins and stuff like that, I can't do that if you don't answer the questionnaire. I can't have you deadlifting and bench pressing if you need shoulder surgery and you have hip problems. And I got to know those things. I got to know what you do for work, right? So the kids, relating it back to baseball, I have to know if you play other sports. Because if you play football and you're a football quarterback and you're throwing all day at football practice, and then you come to baseball because we might have a 7:00 at night game or whatever, and now you're throwing all day pitching or catching. Absolutely not. What if you play on two teams, which there's several kids that were in these leagues that played on two teams just to get playing time. So just because you're not in my league doesn't mean I don't want to know your pitch count or your how many times you've pitched this week. Just because what if you're playing on another team? I need to know that stuff because I could be accidentally hurting you, and I want to be aware. And it's not always up to the parent to be like, "Oh yeah, I got an idea. Everyone needs to know my kid has this issue." Because it's uncomfortable and it just doesn't always come up. So as the coaches, let's be more prepared. Let's be ready for these things. Let's have the questionnaire. Let's sit down with some other, maybe even the parents, like, "Hey, what do you guys think should be on this thing?" If you generate your first one, you'll add questions here and there, but at least you'll have one, and at least that step is forward. And when a kid doesn't have to explain things to you because you already know them, it just helps. It helps build that leadership and that trust and that respect in letting you lead them. So they have more faith in you. It's just natural, right? Same thing at work. If I show up to work and my boss knows things about me on and off the job and just like, hey man, I know your son had a recital last night. How did that go? It's just those little moments of bonding that are like, oh, you really care. You pay attention. Which brings me to my last and final point. Passion for the craft. And I can't say that enough. Passion for the craft. If you're going to coach, if you're going to lead, if you're going to mentor, you have to have passion in what you do. You have to have passion in what you do, because why else are you doing it? Most of the coaches that I know are volunteer. Why else are you there? It's not about you. It's not about how you look. It's not about your coaching. It's about helping these youth minds grow, adapt, and reach new heights without you, right? Starting here to get the next step. So if you don't have passion for the leadership world, for the growth and adaptability of the leadership world, then why even do it? So that being said, let's just remember, growth starts at failure. So fail up and fail forward, but never stop trucking. See you next time.